Straight ahead on 12 News, finding space for the arts in Maple Grove.
So we're having to move out by the end of the month.
Then, new immigrants setting a good example along a busy freeway. But first, a heads up for drivers as some connections to 494 close for the summer. 12 News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. If you drive in the West Metro, you may already be feeling the pinch of another road construction season.
That is especially true along Interstate 494 as MnDOT works to improve the freeway by adding a third lane in Plymouth and Maple Grove. Temporary closures over the weekend were just the beginning. You can see the traffic was heavy and in some places not moving so well during the Monday morning rush hour. Now, several new ramp connections closed starting today, and they will stay closed through November, according to MnDOT. 3 ramps connecting 494 with Interstate 394 closed. 3 more connections between Carlson Parkway and 494 also closed until November. Officials recommend planning ahead and bringing along an extra dose of patience.
A few bridges are being replaced, fully replaced. East Fish Lake Road Bridge is being redecked, and adding a third lane in each direction between Highway 55 and 694. Last year we did the south side, this year we're doing the north side.
There will be more closures through the summer, so the best idea is to check MnDOT's website for updated closure information. As Maple Grove continues to grow, retail space becomes more valuable.
And for the Maple Grove Arts Center, this means a change of space. Neil Persley explains.
Lori Link always knew this day would come.
So we're having to move out by the end of the month. We've canceled a couple shows.
The Maple Grove Arts Center had been living in some very spendy real estate on Main Street, rent-free since its inception 8 years ago. When the property was sold a year ago, they knew their days in the space were numbered.
So we worked out with them, and they allowed us to stay at least another year, but they did not tell us specifically when they were going to ask us to leave.
Whether it's walls to hang it on or a stage to perform it on, art requires space. Front Porch Musical Theater provides the Maple Grove area with a learning and instructional environment in musical theater for students ages 5 to 18. They are constantly searching for performance space.
I would love to see a performing arts center where the community could go for the arts.
With over 300 students in a semester, the theater company's challenge is to find a stage in the Maple Grove area which can hold 75 young actors for full musical productions 4 times a year.
For the first time, I think this semester, we had to turn students away just because we can only have so much space.
Front Porch's space problem is punctuated by the fact that the church they had been renting for rehearsal space in Osseo has just been sold.
We are homeless for the summer and for our fall semester.
I think we're aware that there is that need out there. We're aware that there's a group out there that's been advocating for a center.
Back in December, an arts group made a presentation to the Maple Grove City Council on the importance of the arts.
You need to figure out what type of location or what type of facility we're actually talking about, how big the facility is, what it actually will be asked to do for the community, what's the cost, and what sort of, how do you pay for it on an ongoing basis.
A multi-purpose arts facility will take a plan, organization, and cooperation within the various branches of the arts community.
We can't just go build us an art center. That's not how it works.
Whether or not the closing of the Maple Grove Arts Center will provide that catalyst remains to be seen. In Maple Grove, Neil Persley, 12 News.
Lori Link says the Maple Grove Arts Center will still put on the Maple Grove Days Art Fair and be visible around the community in other ways.
A local lawmaker says now is the time to upgrade Minnesota laws to comply with the federal Real ID requirement. And House Republicans advanced a bill today that does not allow state residents to keep their old licenses. The federal government will soon require Minnesota residents to get new IDs known as Real IDs if they want to fly on domestic flights. Maple Grove Representative Dennis Smith believes the time to act is now.
Is meant for government has given us hard deadlines where we need to comply, or there's going to be significant ramifications to our society as we know it, such as not being able to fly on a commercial airplane. Currently, we cannot have admittance to certain federal government buildings and military bases.
Representative Smith wants Real ID to begin on October 1st of this year. That would mean no one would have to get a license twice before October 2020, which is the federal date when everyone needs to be Real ID compliant.
Education and finance will be two key issues addressed this week at the Capitol in St. Paul. Senator John Hoffman supports the $100.5 million supplemental education bill. According to Hoffman, Minnesota needs more school counselors. The state ranks 46th out of 50 in that category.
42 is third reading.
We're realizing, especially with an increase in student behavior that's coming on within Minnesota, that we needed to address it by saying, well, how are we supporting teachers? How are we supporting students? How are we supporting families?
Hoffman says local school districts should be able to decide how many more counselors or social workers they need.
A Minnetonka City Council member has announced plans to run for a state Senate seat that serves Plymouth and Minnetonka. Tony Wagner says he will run for the Senate District 44 seat, which is now held by Terry Bonoff. Bonoff has announced plans to run for Congress. Wagner says he will seek to continue Bonoff's legacy. He is currently serving his 4th term on the Minnetonka City Council.
Plymouth plans to take another look at its rules on medical marijuana. Last summer, the city passed an ordinance prohibiting manufacturing or distribution facilities in the city. This week, officials will look at several proposals to allow them, but well away from schools, churches, and residential neighborhoods. If the council decides to move forward, a public hearing would be scheduled. Minnesota is home to more than 8,000 immigrants from the West African nation of Ghana.
Yeah, many of them live in Brooklyn Park and Brooklyn Center. And as Delane Cleveland reports, a big group gathered over the weekend to undertake a big community service project.
Every day, traffic zooms along Highway 610 as drivers head along to their destination. But sometimes they leave a few items behind on their journey.
Car parts, beer bottles.
Ben Bodum is a member of the Asanteman Association, a group made up of immigrants from Ghana. Saturday morning, they gathered at Brooklyn Park's Metro Transit Park and Ride with another Ghanaian immigrant organization to take part in a big project.
Yeah, this is kind of our spring cleanup.
In an effort to become more involved in the community, the group signed up for the Adopt a Highway program, claiming a section of Highway 610 as their own, and by default, all the trash that comes with it.
Since people don't obey rules and regulations, they just throw trash, and so somebody got to pick it out.
For 2 years now, the group has come together to pick up anything and everything they find alongside the highway.
It's an intentional act which we need to stop.
From the typical litter,
I hate litter. I hate when I see all those little pieces of paper thrown all over the place,
to the occasional car part.
Somebody lost it. Dodge ramp.
Some might consider this a thankless job, but for these volunteers, taking part in this community service project helps them set an example for their children.
Where you live is where you need to give back. And so by doing some of these things and the parents bringing them, we're trying to hope to instill in them that volunteerism, community service is important.
Important because it helps the people in the group build a deeper connection to this new place they call home.
I mean, America has done a lot for us. We appreciate it.
In Brooklyn Park, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
The group plans to do another trash cleanup in the fall. Well, coming up, once the site of Alligator's nightclub, now a one-of-a-kind child care center is set to open in Maple Grove.
And then a little bit later in sports, the Champlin Park boys lacrosse team is off to a great start. We will have the highlights from their latest win.
But first, it's your AccuWeather forecast. Well, there is a new kind of child care center moving into Minnesota, and the first one will open in Maple Grove.
Arizona-based Children's Learning Adventure opens in June. In this week's Business Matters, a preview of this new facility located in a familiar spot. For years, Spectrum Lanes and Alligator nightclub resided at Bass Lake Road and 494. Then the recession hit and the shuttered building sat from 2008 until now.
Inside, kids love to bowl a few frames on our Brunswick Lane.
Bowling is back, but it's not the only game under the roof of this new 33,000 square foot child care center.
Children's Learning Adventure. where learning is the greatest adventure of all.
Children's Learning Adventure, opening June 25th, is a whole new concept in early childhood learning, designed for infants through kids in the 6th grade.
We have an entire wing of our facility dedicated to older children, both for after school and for summer camp.
While amenities such as a ballet studio or 16-screen video wall for modern dance are geared towards older kids, at its core, Children's Learning Adventure is a provider of early childhood education.
The overall facility size is pretty large, but the good news is that all the classrooms are sized as you would typically find in any preschool. So once you get inside the building, you lose that large feel pretty quickly and realize that you do have an intimate setting in each preschool setting.
The youngest of kids are enrolled in a homeroom setting and rotate throughout the day into specialty classrooms, such as a math and science lab, garden center, television studio, and even a professional-grade cooking classroom.
If we were teaching about apples in our preschool homeroom, perhaps they would go into the math and science lab and learn how apples grow. Or they may go into Reading Reef Library and learn or read books about apples.
This name may be new to Minnesota now, but it won't be for long.
I always hear parents say, we wish we had this when we were kids. The Northwest Minneapolis area is going to say the same thing when they see our facility.
Grand opening and enrollment will be held June 25th. Children's Learning Adventure is currently hiring around 100 people, from teachers to management to maintenance. And we have more information on our website at 12.tv, and that'll tell you how to apply. Coming up, a new way to draw attention to a big summer get-together.
And up next in sports, the Wayzata boys track and field team shines against some tough competition. John Jacobson is that when we come back. Well, they were state champs last year in track and field, and it looks like they're off to a pretty good start already this year.
Wayzata's got a lot of depth on their team, a lot of talent at the top too, and yes, off to a very good start. The Wayzata boys track and field team has consistently been near the top of the state track and field meet. The Trojans hosted a tri-meet against two other strong programs, Stillwater and Rosemont. Came to Wayzata. Wayzata senior Jared Carpenter, one of the best milers in the state, and he wins the 1,600 meters. His time 4 minutes, 14.16 seconds. 4x200 relay. Sean Miller anchors the Trojans to a winning time of 1 minute, 31.14 seconds. Tyler Didier holds off teammate Ethan Took in the 400, and the Trojans take the top two spots there. 800 meters, Wayzata sophomore Khalid Hussein leads the way, winning with a time of 2 minutes and 51 seconds. High jump, it's Wayzata's Jeremiah Brathwaite taking the top spot, clearing 6 feet 3 inches. Wayzata rolls to the win. They score 104.5 points. Stillwater is second, and Rosemont comes in third. The Champlin Park boys team blasted Coon Rapids and Irondale in their first two lacrosse contests this spring. They look to make it 3 wins in a row when they took on Duluth. First quarter, it's Connor Distrud faking out his defender and bouncing his shot past the goalie to give the Rebels a 2-0 lead. The Wolfpack play tough defense in the first half. Watch the fantastic point-blank save here by goalie Nick Madden on Johnny Henningson's shot that keeps it 2-0 after 1. Second quarter, Zach Tentis, great feed inside from Brody Sturm, and he scores. Champlin Park's up 3-0 at the half. They start to pour it on in the third quarter. Sturm taking the ball out from behind the net and whips it down low, beats Madden to make it 4-0 Rebels. Duluth down 6-1, but they score late in the third quarter. Costa Gomez bouncing in a goal. And it's a 4-goal lead only now for Champlin Park, but the Rebels too strong for the first-year Duluth team. Tentis gets in here and scores to make it 7-2 Rebels. Champlin Park goes on to win by a final of 10-4. Also in boys lacrosse, Wayzata hosted Totino Grace Saturday afternoon. First quarter, good passing by the Trojans here. Riley Nelson, Alexander Solly to Brooks Hansen there for the goal. 3-0 Wayzata. Brenton Redrick passes to Hansen, then back to the trailing Nelson for the goal. 4-0 Wayzata. And then the race for the ground ball won by Amar Batra. He'll scoop it up and set up Dalton Cease with the goal, and Wayzata's ahead 6-0 after 1. Second quarter, Matt Hocker with a nice individual effort here gets Totino Grace on the board. That goal makes it 7-1. Nelson sets up Batra. He'll score one of his 6 goals in the afternoon here, and Wayzata's up 9-1. Third quarter, Nelson another assist, passes to Sali for the goal. Wayzata wins its first game of the season. They beat Tutino Grace 16-2. Park Center has taken a step forward in baseball this spring after a winless 2015 campaign. Pirates hosted a good non-conference foe when they hosted Burnsville, and Burnsville will strike first in this game. Sam Carlson driving the low breaking ball to deep right center. 2-run score on the first of 2 triples in the game for Florida recruit Carlson, and it's 2-0 Blaze. Park Center answers as Ryan Traeger's hit is just fair down the third baseline. Mitch Mayer scores, got the deficit to 2-1 after an inning. In the second, Kyle Schnobrick's liner drops in just fair for the Pirates. Ryan Stakowski scores. Park Center evens the score at 2-2. And they go ahead in the third. Stakowski hits a flare into left field. Traeger scores. And the second runner, Keller Tollison, just beats the tag. Park Center goes up 4-2 after 3 innings of play. But it's all Burnsville from there. Brendan Larson drills it to deep right field to score a pair of runs. The Burnsville gets 5 runs in the fourth, and they pull away for a 13-4 win. And that is a look at sports for today.
All right. Thanks a lot, John.
Okay.
Well, still ahead, it could be a new way to get the word out about a big summer event.
We'll tell you more about that when we come back.
Spring has sprung and music will be in the air all week long at North Hennepin Community College. It starts on Monday night tonight with the North Hennepin Orchestra. Then on Wednesday there's a jazz ensemble and concert band featuring music for movies and Broadway shows. And on Friday a choral concert will focus on Broadway songs of peace and love. All performances are free and start at 7:30. And speaking of music, Plymouth may use a new method to promote their summer concert, Music in Plymouth.
And they may go big with an ad on the side of a bus. Usually Plymouth Metrolink buses don't carry ads, but they may completely wrap one bus with an ad that looks a bit like this. Through the city's partnership with Southwest Transit, it'll be able to completely wrap one bus with an ad for free, and the bus would also be used to shuttle concert goers during the event. Music in Plymouth, as you can see there, right on the side of the bus, is scheduled for June 29th, starting at 5:30. So be there and get on the bus.
I would say that would get your attention. That looks great.
That'll do it. That's the news for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
We will see you back here tomorrow starting at 4 o'clock.